Look at the chaos.
It's in the box.
Board, deck and dice here for a first play of Glorantha, the God's War, which basically we ignored the advice, me and Mark, to how to deal with Simon's Storm faction.
I forgot about the advice.
So Mark was the
Sun God.
Sky God.
That's the one.
He finally got out of hell because the advantage is your greater god starts on the board. It's the only greater god that starts on the board, but getting out of hell is very, very difficult.
I should have put.
You should have committed more to that because
I don't see how you're ever going to do this.
you committed too much too late. That one.
Well, unless like.
What just to do?
I couldn't use any of Simon's to get out because they didn't have power that was higher.
Are they related to get out of hell?
Yeah.
All right.
And yours could just leave.
Yeah. Well, at the end, I might have taken it just to get a bit more power because I was a bit power short. But it's action selection with a bit of area control. The area control is quite fluid, isn't it? Because you can go in and out of people's areas and you don't have to attack them.
Yeah.
You have these massive, ridiculous, models at different levels. Like this guy's the biggest here. I was slightly different because I had a different building to these guys. We left Chaos out because Chaos is a bit different again. Because halfway through the game, there was this here. It turned into a Chaos Rift, and we all had to kind of combine to take that out. But me and Simon didn't go in too heavy because as soon as we took that out, we knew Mark's God could come out on the board and start looking at people with his double face. So double face, 5 arms, man coming out of paw. So your buildings, you have to get stuff on the board to get you power and VP. And that's where all your power and VP come from earning hero quests and getting stuff on the board. But you get it in different ways. So power, which you use to drive all your actions, you have to have different types of buildings on the board. And whereas VPs is just all your buildings on the board. And that's where you were quite mobile, weren't you? Especially when you got your things. We should have taken your buildings out very early on. Because once you got your buildings on and your bros, they could just fly around into any battle. And that made it really hard to even take out your little buildings. I probably didn't use hell enough because I could go into hell from all my temples and ziggurats and then come out anywhere. So I probably should have popped up a bit more. But this guy was quite good. He was quite a threat, and so was she because she didn't need to roll dice. She can just assign kills and routes. I quite like the combat system. It is luck heavy. You're more likely to miss in combat than do anything else because there's
only one hit.
There's 3 misses, 2 routes, and 1 kill.
Yeah.
But that kill can be applied to anything, so there's no health on the creatures. The bigger ones tend to roll more dice, but not necessarily. And routes just mean the person. So if I came in here and routed Mark, I rolled 2 routes or 1 route. He would decide which character, and then I would decide where they go. So routing is just kind of displacing them. But the buildings also have a power. So ziggurats, yours has 2 kills, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if I'd have come in here, even against a normal faction, that would have 1 kill to all the dice. So say he rolled blanks and I rolled a route, that would go. He would choose that to be routed, but then the temple would kill me anyway, and that costs 4 power to lift, even to get out. What do you think, Mr. Brass?
Yeah, it was good. Area control mostly, I would say. It's all about getting those buildings out.
Yeah.
Because that lets you get people out, and then that lets you be part of the battles and things. I thought there'd be more diplomacy, and I think maybe you two should have worked a bit closer together as I was keeping up with you. I like that the book gave you strategies for everyone who you're playing against, and also gave you a bit of a guide as to how to play the faction.
They do play very differently, despite them all having the same buildings.
Yeah. So I spent a bit of time at the start reading those, like how to play my faction. So I had a bit of a plan, and you guys really should have stopped me from getting.
Yeah, definitely. Basically, it said about your ones, stop them, get ahead of them as much as you can, because end game they're just going. And the last 2, considering you have to get to 35, the last 2 you got 16 points at least.
Yeah. And I also had my ability was I could spend 2 victory points to gain 4 power, which is a lot of power.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it gave me like 2-3 actions.
That's what
turn.
I found. Yeah, the power you accumulated power, no problem.
So I could just keep myself down the victory track because I knew I was up there anyway with you guys.
It's not as fiddly as I thought it would be.
No.
In terms of these, because you can put your buildings anywhere, then your units have to go to your buildings.
Yeah.
And then the player boards are really good because they tell you which phases to look out for things. And I found that quite helpful. You've got these like an achievement system, isn't it, to unlock your gifts, and you choose. So your strategy can be different each time. It's not asymmetrical as something like Root, but there certainly is asymmetrical elements to it.
Yeah.
You probably had the toughest out of these ones with your unit starting in Hell.
Yeah, I would definitely do that differently. I'd invest more in that and just get it out earlier. And I didn't actually use them.
And you didn't earn a lot of runes, did you? Which we which are quite powerful. Yeah. And
how were you getting them? Was it from stuff?
That building there gets me a rune every power phase, and then I also had one that got me a rune every council phase, but I had to pay for it. Yeah. Or I could give it to one of you guys and I get the reward, but you choose it. Yeah. It's quite clever like that when other people have to choose stuff for you.
Yeah, I had 2 of my hero quests which were dependent on what you guys did. So one of them was you completed all your gifts, which gave me one of mine, and my other one was 2 of my enemy players have runes. So sort of willing either you to give him one or you could work out how the heck to play the game so you get a rune. So
how would I have got one then?
I don't know, Mark.
I don't know. We didn't play Sky, but I will next time and I'll win. And this one had 2 linked ones, which were really good because I could get 2 out straight away, which really helped my power. I probably didn't do that quick enough. And some of your more powerful actions are locked until the second round as well, which is quite nice. The what's it called? The Great Compromise. What do you think about
that? Yeah, it was good. I forgot about it in the last round, but yeah, it was all right. It gave me the impetus to maintain as first player. It gave me that.
Tell us what it is. Remind us what it is.
So whoever's the first player, once the Great Compromise is triggered, which is 20 points, which is halfway pretty much in the game, they get 4 points, and then they allocate 3 and 2 points to the other players. And it just so happened that I was in the lead, and I was giving myself 4 points. But I think it's more designed for the person with the most power to be the person at the back.
Well, you used it at the back as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You were the first player all the way through, really.
Yeah, and I think that helped me to maintain and stay with you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like the name's not particularly accurate.
But
it's not that big, I didn't feel.
But again, I think that's where the diplomacy could have come into it a bit more.
With more players, if you played with 8, you'd be giving minus points out as well.
Yeah.
Or a 6 even.
Minus points.
You basically go down by 1 every time.
Okay.
So you'd be pegging people back as well.
I see.
I'm not sure I would play it with 8. I don't know. But I feel like it's one of those. It took us a good couple of hours with rules, and it's one of those that when you first play it, even though what you're doing is quite simple because it's such a fantastical world, it's more the terminology that you're getting used to, isn't it?
When you were describing the rules at the start, I was just thinking this just sounds really complicated, but like they've just tried to make it sort of.
See, I'd read the rules.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And they've just made it.
And I knew it wasn't complicated.
Yeah.
I think probably actually, if I'd have read it rules a couple of times, we could have just gone off this. The player aid is quite good.
I didn't use this the whole game, so that's fine. Like I didn't need to use it really, so.
But like if we played again, I think we'd be done an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But it is going to be a long one for your first play, definitely. Just because there's a lot of moving parts, but they do fit together very well. Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Brass?
Floating Island's cool.
Oh yeah, you didn't even use that.
Use it, but I thought it was just a cool little concept. So there's this floating island, which if you have a building or a unit on it, you can move and you can link places. You can block these sea passages. I thought that was really cool, but I was all the way through the game. I was thinking, how do I use it? And I couldn't really.
Yeah, and I think if we'd have come in and put pressure on it again, that might have been something where you're like, moving.
Yeah. So that was cool. And it's just a neat little thing.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before in a game. I don't think anything like that.
And I think, like, having played with these 3 factions particularly, I would feel comfortable playing with any of them now, even though I made mistakes on these. I think it's pretty obvious to all of us what we'd do if we had the other person's factions, which is quite good. The faction we haven't played with is Chaos, and Chaos is the one that kind of all players are working against on the Rift, and they have different buildings. They just have these little Chaos nests, and when they upgrade them, they just flip them over, but it's a gift, not an upgrade. So I imagine their power is going to be quite high all the time, because they only have to pay 1 to get them out, and they put them in areas where your buildings are, so they can spawn right into your buildings and with their nests. So that'd be quite interesting. So that is. Do you want to say anything?
I found how to get a room. It's on this gift. But I have to remove both of those to get it, and I didn't get either of them.
Oh, and then you can get them again, can you?
Yeah, so if I remove...
then
both
that's
gifts,
what you need to be... So you needed to be bribing people a lot.
But then you said something about you can bribe them with other things.
Well, you
not
can
just
kind of
what's on
say,
there, but
if you get me out of
what was
hell,
it?
I'll go and attack people. You
Yeah,
can make those kinds of promises. But yeah, I think you're more negotiation heavy. Which is why we gave it to you, because you're so good at negotiation.
It's always a
Yeah.
strong suit of mine.
So that is Glorantha, the God's War. We forgot about Hell and the Heavens as well, but they were part of the map.
Yeah.
And I couldn't build up here. Every character has a weakness and an ability, which is quite cool.
I can't declare battle in hell.
But yeah, we should have gone up and smacked those buildings right.
Oh, so I couldn't have taken him out.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I should have more things in hell, that's for sure. We'll see you next time on Board, Deck and Dice.